All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, don't look now, folks, but after 14 games in the 2022 Major League Baseball season, the New York Mets are 10-4 and are setting the pace in the National League East. The Mets are off to their best start in 4 years. And even though that it is still early in the season, they've given their fan base hope that they can end their postseason drought, which dates back to 2016. Now, so far this season, the Mets have not lost a series, which includes taking 2 out of 3 from the Philadelphia Phillies. And then this week, taking 3 out of 4 at home against the San Francisco Giants, who led all of baseball last year with 107 wins. Now, first year Mets manager Buck Showalter is doing it again. And you think about the success that Showalter has had throughout his managerial career, turning things around for the New York Yankees, getting things started for an expansion team in the Arizona Diamondbacks at the time, turning things around for the Texas Rangers, turning the fortunes around for the Baltimore Orioles. He knows how to get it done. The only thing that is missing from Showalter's soon to be Hall of Fame resume is a World Series championship. But nonetheless, Buck knows how to motivate his guys. Buck knows how to talk to his guys. He also knows how to prepare them, and he also knows how to get the best and most out of them when they take the field. And so far this season, that is showing itself once again for the Metropolitans. You look at the starts of some of the key players for the Mets this season. Pete Alonso, the first baseman slash designated hitter. He's batting 278 with 3 homers and 14 runs batted in as he's on pace for another 30 home run season. Francisco Lindor, and of course, last offseason, we saw the Mets make the splash when they acquired him from Cleveland. We saw Lindor get the big contract from New York, and he had a so-so campaign in 2021, but he's off to a better start this year. He's hitting 308 with 4 homers, 10 runs batted in, and 3 stolen bases. Then the Mets organization, which has always been rich with pitching, they're doing it once again so far. Their team ERA of 2.56 is third in the National League. We've seen not just what Max Scherzer has done when he takes the mound, but also his impact as a teacher of the game to some of the other Met pitchers. And then we've seen the effects for players like Tyler McGill and Chris Bassett, how they have performed so far this season for New York. Then Carlos Carrasco, another solid pitching effort for New York today as he went 7 2/3 to help the Mets take their series against the San Francisco Giants. No Jacob DeGrom so far. You know, he's been in and out of the lineup the last couple of years with injuries. So hopefully, if you're the Mets, he can come back to your rotation, but more importantly, stay there and contribute. You look at it, like I said before, with the brain trust of the New York Mets, a different owner right now in Steve Cohen. He's basically given Sandy Alderson and Billy Epler free reins to do what they have to do in the front office, and he also has given Buck Showalter free reins as well. But the bottom line is, he's not. He's keeping out of the way. He knows that he's hired the right people to do respective jobs. And with that said, when you hire the right people to do the job, you know what? You get out of their way and you let them do what they were paid to do. And so far, that has been effective for this Mets club. Now, don't get me wrong. The MLB season is a marathon and not a sprint. So the Mets, obviously, they have plenty of baseball ahead of them, but they have to find a way to finish this year. You remember last year, the Mets set the record for the most days in first place without making the postseason, and also without even finishing with a winning record. So things have to be a little bit different this year for the Mets. But nonetheless, the fast start means that the Mets have now set the pace for the Atlanta Braves and the Philadelphia Phillies in the National League East. The Braves are 4 games back of the Mets, while the Phillies are 4.5 games back currently. And obviously, things are going to change. The Mets and Phillies have a ton of games left with each other during the season. The Mets haven't even played the Braves yet. And, you know, just as I've talked about the importance of this start for the Mets, things are going to be picking up soon. The Mets are in Arizona for 3 games this weekend against the Diamondbacks. But then after that, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, they're in St. Louis against the always tough Cardinals. before they host the Phillies next weekend. And after that, it's going to be a who's who of contentious teams that the Mets are facing. After the three-game set with the Phillies, four games at home at the beginning of May against the Atlanta Braves. Then after that, they're on the road once again in Philly for four more. You go to the middle of May. The Mets will host the Seattle Mariners, a team that some people feel can win the AL West this year. They're then home for forward St. Louis, and then later in May they're on the road with three games in Frisco against the Giants before they come back with three at home against the Phillies on Memorial Day weekend. And before you know it, at the beginning of June, the Mets are on a West Coast trip, which includes a four-game set with the always tough Los Angeles Dodgers. But nonetheless, this is a solid start for the Mets. They do have a different feel from them than they did last year. They seem more crisp. They seem more precise. I think a lot of that can be attributed to the manager. Things are a lot different for this club. Obviously, like I said, they still have a ways to go, and I'm not saying that this start is going to result in a trip to the postseason for the Mets, but nonetheless, they are definitely heading in the right direction. So, like I said, it's just 2 weeks into the season, but the Mets have, built themselves a solid foundation. Let's see if they can keep building, and hopefully, for their sake, bigger and brighter things are on the horizon on the baseball diamond this year. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take the time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I'm signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.